Good afternoon. My name is Josh Peasold, and today I'm going to be discussing PACs or political action committees and super PACs. Um, so, PACs they were started in 1944 to assist with the reelection of Franklin Roosevelt. Um, when they were started, there was a little bit of season there where they were pretty unregulated, and this lasted until 1971 when the Federal Election Campaign Act was was pushed through, and at that point regulations came down. Since then, it has been $5,000 is the most that can be donated to a political action committee by one individual per year to support the party or a candidate. Um, PACs also have pretty strict regulations on what they can do with the money that's brought in. These being, they can only give $5,000 per candidate per election. The difference here being if there's a candidate that's in a primary election with only his party and then runs on to the general election against the opposing parties, then you can donate $5,000 to each one. The Political Action Committee can. Um, they are allowed to give $15,000 per cycle to a particular political party. And they are also unlimited in the amount they can spend on advertisement. Um, they are commonly used by businesses, labor unions, and special interest groups, but cannot take money from them. Money must be given to the political action committees by individuals. So what that means is the United Auto Workers Union cannot donate money to a political action committee directly from their chests, but the president can give $5,000 a year. The vice president can give $5,000 a year, or anybody that's a member of the union for that matter could, if they all felt led to do so, could give up to $5,000 per year as an individual. Um, so political action committees blew up between the 1970s and uh, the year 2010. When they started to get regulated a little bit in 1971, there were around 600. When 2010 campaign cycle came along, there were over 4,000 of them. So they were one of the primary sources for campaign donations before the year 2010. One thing to keep in mind that's unique about political action committees compared to like super PACs or a couple others we may touch on in this video is they are strictly regulated by the Federal Election Commission in the manner that I've previously stated in the video. Super PACs are slightly different. So in 2010, there were a couple Supreme Court cases that came along in order to allow more funding for campaigns. Campaigns became much more aggressive, much more in all of our faces after this time, and that was because of the influx of money being spent on them, and a lot of this had to do with super PACs. These are independent spending programs. They are not like PACs in the sense that they cannot be really affiliated in any way with a political party. Now, can they push the views very heavily? Yes. And when they're used predominantly in like advertisement and stuff like that, it will say that they're being used, this is funded by so and so super PAC at the bottom of the advertisement. At this point after 2010, because of the amount of money that's allowed to be given, I mean, unlimited amounts of money can be given based off of these Supreme Court cases. In 2010, there was Citizens United versus Federal Elections Commission, which it removed the spending limits for corporations or unions towards these super PACs. And then also in the same year, Speech Now versus uh, Federal Election Commission, it ruled that citizens can give unlimited amounts to committees that make independent expenditures, which are super PACs. Um, so this created kind of a wild, wild west when it comes to the advertisements that are used in election periods. In essence, super PACs have less regulations, but have to act solely of their own accord. Um, and also, they are limited into what they can do. Whereas, like I mentioned before, a PAC can be pretty closely aligned with a particular party or candidate. A super PAC has to act on its own. Um, Another fun fact about super PACs that I discovered was um, for the last election cycle, super PACs raised 5,096,825,517. That's how much they raised, but they only spent 2,688,992,939. Where did the other 2.4 billion go? That's just little food for thought, and the reference for that is in the works cited page for this project. Um, Another thing I just briefly want to touch on that's brought up in a couple of the sources I've used is hybrid PACs are another way that you can that another form of political action committees and super PACs kind of coexisting. The big thing for a hybrid PAC, though, is they can, on a sense, be run by the same people, but they have to have separate bank accounts, and the super PAC side has to not be involved with the political party or candidate on levels that would deem it to be illegal. Another thing that I came across is a thing called leadership PACs. Now, these are more on the political action committee side, not the super political action committee side. But what these are is they are used in order to help somebody kind of climb the ranks of their chosen political party. Like somebody kind of leads up a leadership PAC and runs the charge through an election cycle in order to build their name up in that community and that political party. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Thank you for your time, and I hope that you got something from it just like I did.